Hey guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. My voice just cracked. Isn't that so funny? It's like in the Brady Bunch when Peter's voice starts to crack and I'm Peter and my voice is cracking. Anyway, that's not really what this video is about. I have been watching all of the Unpopular Opinions book tag videos, and I loved this tag video, and so I was like, you know what, I really want to do it. And before I did it, I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, I have so many ideas for this. And then when I sat down and I started kind of making up my list, I like really, look at my hair. Anyway, I just got it cut yesterday and I still, whatever. Anyway, I was like, I couldn't like figure out what books I wanted to put on the list. And it was like, I really found out that I don't hate that many books. Or maybe if I start reading them, I don't like them. I just kind of don't really delve into them. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say like I hate or dislike a book. I don't know what that's about. So anyway, there were a few on there, and it was funny because like even the ones that I really disliked, I completely finished. So let's get right into it. And I will link the creator's video underneath here in case you want to do it, and there's a list of questions. So number one, a popular book or series that you did not like. Okay, this is really, really easy for me, but I'm actually going to do two because I feel very strongly about the second one. The first one is the Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer. I know people love this series. I mean, I have a client of mine, and she is 16, and like every book she reads, she's like, that totally reminds me of Twilight. And she even said about my book, she was like, now, did you read Twilight? And is this like Twilight fan fiction? I'm like, no, that's been done. I didn't do that. But anyway, I have to tell you, like, I didn't hate the story. Like, I thought the story was really, like, I can't start a series without ending it, which is why I think I'm a little intimidated and terrified to start a series, because if I do, then I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to read the whole thing and find out what happens. But I felt like it was very much, I don't know, like, I just felt like the writing was not great. I didn't think the character, I mean, the fact that people get so into these characters like Edward and Bella, and I just don't even think they were developed that well. I don't know. And it just wasn't for me. And at that time, I don't really love vampire anything, so I'm like more into zombie stuff, so it just wasn't anything that clicked with me. But I did read all 4 books. I have to say, for me, I did not like the Twilight book, but I loved the movie. I didn't like, or I loved the second New Moon, but I did not like the movie, and then back and forth for these, so. Okay, the other book that I really didn't like that was popular, and I still like, I just saw a review video that someone did the other day where they like really talked this book up, and I was so confused, was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Is that who it is? E.L. Lockhart? Anyway, I was so excited to read this book because John Green and a bunch of famous authors really like championed this book, and I can remember like I just could not get into it at all. I thought like it just was like, I just did not think it was written well. I thought the character development of the main character was okay. I just thought it was almost kind of pretentious how it was written. And then the end is a total cheat. I mean, I just felt like, you know, back in the day with like the Agatha Christie novels and all those kinds of things where they would like introduce some kind of deal in the last like 5 pages and that would explain like the whole mystery. That's how I felt it was. It was like we didn't have these clues throughout the book to figure this out, and I don't think that's fair as a reader. Like, I don't want to have to read 350 pages of a book to find out in the last 5 pages what the 355 pages meant. Like, that's not fair to me. Like, I should be able to be part of that journey and look back and go, oh my god, now I get it. It's like in The Sixth Sense, the movie. Like, you look back and you're like, oh my god, I get it now. Like, it all makes sense, right? Or like The Village. I love all of those books by M. Night Shyamalan, or however you pronounce his name. But anyway, like where you look back and you're like, oh my god, it all makes sense now. We Were Liars didn't make sense. And I don't understand why she got so championed by the literary world. It just really confuses me. I did not like that book at all. In fact, I was turned off by the book at the end. And because of it, probably would never read anything by her again because I felt so cheated. But anyway, and I've never like really felt like that about an author before. It was really surprising to me, especially about a book that I was so excited to read, and it was in the summertime, and it takes place in the summertime on this beach. And I loved like where it was set and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know, I just didn't get it. Okay, number 2, a popular book or series that everyone seems to hate but you love. I'm going to go off of what other booktubers have kind of said in their book opinion blogs, and maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of people have said Looking for Alaska by John Green. I loved Looking for Alaska. In fact, I think Looking for Alaska is probably my favorite John Green book. And it's so funny because so many times when I meet like fans of John Green, they're like, well, what did you think of Looking for Alaska? And I'm like, I loved it. It was like my favorite book. And they're like, oh, it was my least favorite book. But interestingly enough, I also love the movie Dead Poets Society. And it reminded me a lot of that book or movie when I was reading it. I have to say, like, Abundance of Catherine's not my favorite John Green book. It wasn't horrible. I still thought it was well done. I thought it was, I thought it was immature at the time. Like, not immature, but green as a writer. John Green was green as a writer. It's interesting as a writer, like, I know that my first book that came out, like, 2 years ago, like, I look back on it now and I'm like, like, I mean, I liked the book and I'm proud of the fact that I had a book out. But in retrospect, I'm like, that's not the book that I would write today. And it's not the book that I'm writing today. I'm actually working on my third book. And I mean, it's like you mature as an author, right? And I think you mature as a reader too. And so John Green has really matured as an author. I still appreciate Abundance of Catherine's because it's so creative and just the storyline behind it. So you should read it. But Looking for Alaska is probably my favorite book of his of all time. Okay, number 3, a love triangle where the main character ends up with the person you did not want them to end up with, or an OTP they don't like. And it says, warn people for spoilers. So, spoiler alert, this is about the Hunger Games. And, I mean, have you not seen the Hunger Games or read the books? I don't know. Like, at the beginning, I really wanted Katniss to end up with Peeta, but then at the end of the book, and like everybody in the world calls me Peeta now, my name is Peter, not Peeta, but because of those books. But anyway, I, like, throughout the second and the third book, like, I didn't want her to be with Peeta anymore. Like, I wanted her to end up with Gale. And, the movies kind of did that for me, too. I don't know, like, when I see the movies, sometimes they kind of impress upon me more than the books. So, I don't know, maybe I got that effect. Or I wanted her to not be with either one of them in the end. So, that was a love triangle that I didn't like that ended that way. Number 4, a popular book genre that you hardly reach for. Okay, I hardly ever reach for high fantasy. And in fact, I'll be really honest with you, I don't even know what high fantasy means. I mean, like, I get it when I see people say, like, this is a high fantasy book, but, like, if you told me to go to Half Price Books and find, like, a high fantasy book, I don't even know that I would, like, really know, like, unless I went to the science fiction section, fantasy, parent, whatever, I don't know that I would really know where to find that book. Like, and I know, like, I don't know, it's like the Red Queen series, is that high fantasy? I don't even know. Like, recommend a high fantasy book to me below that you couldn't put down and I'll read it. Number 5, a popular or beloved character that you do not like. Okay, again for this, I have 2. And the first one, and really strongly, and I can't even believe I read these books, but they were so recommended to me and they were so hyped at the time that I was like, okay, I'll read them, was, oh shoot, I just like knocked down my questions. If I have to look this up again, I'm gonna be over it. Was 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. All these E names, like, hold please. Anyway, when I read this book, like, I had a friend of mine that was like, oh my god, can you see me? I'm like looking up the history of this video right now so I can find it, and it's pulling up all this ridiculous stuff that I don't need. Okay, so when I read this book, I'm really sorry for that, and I'm not gonna edit this out, and she's now talking in my video, so I've gotta pause her. Okay, so, anyway, when I read, you're like, wait, Peter, we did not come to your video to watch you hold up that ridiculous book. Okay, I know people love this book. Anastasia is, I think, really does a lot of harm for women. I think, until maybe the third book, I think she lacks confidence. I think she's like, oh no, like, please don't buy me, like, you know, an Audi that cost me $100,000. And like, I just didn't understand some of it. I mean, it's like romance and all this kind of stuff, but then she isn't real romantic even herself. Like, the things that he wants to do for her, she doesn't let him, and it's really about control and domination, which of course is why everybody said this is an S&M book, but like, it really wasn't even an S&M book. I mean, I've read harsher erotica in like new age or new adult fiction. Like, I just didn't think it was very good. And I have to tell you that my friend and I, we went to go see it with her niece, who was like absolutely obsessed with these books, the movie in the movie theater, and we almost got kicked out. Like, every time she would like bite her lip or whatever, and we'd be like, oh, like, we almost got kicked out. These people behind us were so upset. They're like, could you guys hold it down? And we're like, oh my god. And like, when she like went into his room, did you guys see this movie? It was horrible. And she was like, is this your game room? Like, your, whatever she said, like, your, I don't know, your I don't know. It was horrible. That movie is bad. So anyway, and then the other character that I really don't like, okay, I loved in the book, but in the movie I didn't like at all, was Margot from Paper Towns. I love, why can I not think of her? Like, I'm obsessed with models, and I can't think of her name right now. But the girl that played her in the movie, I thought did a great job physically, but like, Margot was like really distant and all that kind of stuff. Like in the book, when you read her, she's like a lovable character at the beginning of the book, and when she goes off, you like really want to find her. In the movie, I didn't really care to find her. So anyway, number 6, a popular author that you can't seem to get into, J.R. Tolkien. I do not know if it is because maybe I'm not that smart or he intimidates me or whatever, but J.R. Tolkien scares the hell out of me. My mom loved him. She'd read all his books. I just cannot get into him. Okay. Whew. If you didn't watch my last video, then you don't know. Our air conditioner is out for the weekend because we can't get anybody here till Tuesday. I am dying. I'm talking a mile a minute. Okay. 7. A popular book trope that you're tired of seeing, for example, blah, blah, blah. Love triangles. I am so tired of love triangles because they're not authentically done. Like, if they were done authentically, then I would love them. Like, how about a love triangle where, like, a girl, and somebody's gonna probably comment below, but like a girl like falls in love with a girl and a guy, or a guy falls in love with a girl and a guy, or vice versa. Like, they're always a girl with 2 guys. Always, I feel like. And I'm so tired of reading that. Okay, number 8. A popular series that you have no interest in reading. Divergent series. I know people love them. I started the first book. I could not get into it whatsoever, and I did not even understand the movies. The movies were so confusing to me. Okay, number 9. The saying goes, the book is always better than the movie. But what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? Oh, I'm kind of even embarrassed to say this, but everybody knows. My favorite book and movie of all time is To Kill a Mockingbird, and I actually think that the movie is 100 times better than the book. I love that movie so much. I love the soundtrack. It was so phenomenally done. I watch it all the time. I used to like put it on when I went to sleep at night because it makes me feel so homey and soothing. So anyway, homey and smoothing. Anyway, so if you guys want to do this tag, do it. I'm actually gonna tag Rachel from Reader on the Right because we kind of been going back and forth tagging each other and stuff, and we kind of started at the same time. So she's kind of like my book newbie sister. I just put that on you. I hope you don't care, Rachel. Anyway, her videos are awesome. Check her out. And yeah, those were my answers. If you guys have any suggestions for books that you think I might like, please put them below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.